Her voice was ice. "If you're unhappy, the door's right there." I didn't flinch, I didn't argue. The words had lost their sting a long time ago. This wasn't the first time she'd thrown that out like a careless remark, a weapon meant to wound. But now it was different. I didn't want to fight. I wanted to watch. I could feel the weight of her gaze, burning into me, daring me to leave, to make the first move. But I wasn't about to give her that satisfaction. "Thanks for the reminder," I said, turning away, the words cutting through the air like a quiet storm. Her smirk, cold, triumphant, lingered in my mind as I walked toward the door. The house, the life I had built, suddenly felt more like a trap than a home. But not for long. I had a plan, and I was going to make sure she realized how empty the house felt without me. I had noticed it for a while, the way she lingered on her phone, the late nights, the excuses. At first, I dismissed it. Life had gotten busy. Work, friends, family, everyone has their own distractions, right? But then the subtle touches came, the whispering, the way she laughed at texts and glances I couldn't see. I asked her about it once. "You're imagining things," she told me, her voice calm, almost too calm. But I wasn't imagining anything. The doubt gnawed at me, quietly, steadily. And one night, when she was in the shower, I picked up her phone. A few messages, flirty, suggestive, nothing overt, but enough to make the blood drain from my face. I recognized the name. Of course I did. It was his name, her coworker, the one she had been spending more time with lately. It wasn't a slip-up. It wasn't just a friend. I knew what I was seeing, what I was reading. But I couldn't confront her yet, not until I had everything. I needed more. I needed to be sure. I didn't react. I kept it all inside, tucked away in the dark corners of my mind. On the outside, I was calm, distant even, detached, the way I always was, the way she wanted me to be. But underneath, a storm was brewing. I started watching, quietly, observing her movements, her interactions. I noted the subtle shifts, the longer hours, the late-night work meetings, the way she started to pull away when I touched her, when I tried to connect. I needed answers, and I was going to get them. I didn't rush it. I didn't make a scene. I bought a tracking app for her phone, something discreet. I set it up without her knowing. Every text, every call, every email, I watched it all. The patterns were undeniable. She was seeing him. She had been seeing him for months, and they were more than just friends. Every night, every moment she wasn't home, I felt the weight of it. I didn't need to ask her. I didn't need to confront her. I knew. And the silence between us was louder than any argument could ever be. It was a Tuesday when the final piece fell into place. I had the evidence now. The photos, the hotel receipts, the messages, the calls, everything. It was all there, in black and white. I didn't need to shout. I didn't need to explode. I just waited. And when she came home that evening, I had the folder waiting for her. I didn't look up when she walked in. I didn't say a word. I just slid the folder across the table. Her breath caught in her throat. I could hear it. She opened it, slowly. Her eyes flickered over the pages, and I watched as the color drained from her face. I don't know what to say," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Say what?" I asked, my voice eerily calm. "Tell me you're sorry? Tell me this was just a mistake?" She couldn't. She wouldn't. The truth was too much for her. Too much for us. "I think you already knew," I said, watching her fall apart. Her hands were shaking now, desperately trying to cover up the damage, to justify what she had done. But it was too late for excuses. "You didn't think I'd find out, did you?" I asked quietly. Her eyes met mine, broken, regretful, but still trying to hold on to whatever power she thought she had left. "I didn't want this," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I didn't want to hurt you." "No," I said, cutting her off. "You wanted this. You wanted him. You just didn't want to face the consequences." I stood up slowly, watching her shrink into the chair, the weight of her betrayal hanging between us like a shadow. "I think it's time for me to leave," I said, turning away from her, feeling the power shift back into my hands. I walked to the door, the finality of it hitting me. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel sadness. I felt empty, but not in the way I had before. I had control now. I left the house quietly, without looking back. I had given her everything: love, support, trust, and in return, I had been betrayed. But that wasn't the part that hurt. The part that stung the most was realizing that I didn't need her to be whole. I didn't need her approval. I was free. And for the first time in years, I understood the truth. It was never about her. It was always about me. The house was empty now, but it felt full, full of everything I had reclaimed. The door was wide open.